3! Incredible! That's the highest level of support. Thank you so much, and welcome.
Smells like daisies.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Twitch.tv/Kyle Phillips Fun. My name is Kyle Phillips, and obviously, I like to have fun.
Please, sir! I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late. It must be...
Yo. Kelly, how's it going, Kelly? That was Matt Hattergal's sounder. What's up? Tier 3, Matt Hattergal. Tier. Chris Psycho what is up, dude? One of our top Smash Bros players in the house. Alex Sketch, hello. If you came over from TikTok. Jorts.
Good Queen Moonlog is here, Koopa.
Hey, what's up, Moogs? Riley was there. Dustin was there. Or if it's your first time, drop the word jorts. What's up, Holy? Addison, hello. Oh, it's all right. Yeah, getting those finals. Joe, how dare you? Moogs, Lexi, Aaliyah, Masked Chaos, welcome in. Guys, hashtag blessed. The stream has been by the farter, the sub, and the Holy Murdy. How's it going, Holy? Tier 3 Holy Murdy patrons. Tier 3 Holy Murdy of gift subs of the family. Welcome in, dude. What's up, Tenacious Lee? Islay Santi, hello. Junpei, A-Dub. No worries. Jane says, can't stay long, but blesseth. Tashi, I did a cosplay of an original character. Ah, no worries. Tomorrow's my last full day of school, then Wednesday is a half day. Nice. Well, Addison,
ladies and gentlemen,
I can't wait for you to rejoin our stream. Hey, what is up, Ari? Yeah, I got Rom in the house. Me, Megan, Sean. It's gonna be good. There's Mike. How's it going, Mike? Oh, sorry, guys. Hang on one second. Hang on a second. I just wanna be a hero. Put in work, I'll never be a zero. I just have to let my fears go. That's the only way to climb to the top. What's up, Kelly? Probably be able to do the day streams during the summer, depending on when they start. So, ToyCon in June, you guys are doing in Texas? Yes, Fan Expo Dallas. I will not be there. I will be somewhere else. But yeah, Chris will be there. Masscast, yeah, except for the panel, it's gonna be awesome. There's Dustin, Iron Swad, hello. Tiger Claw, been a bit. How you been? What's new? The OG Curious Group. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, cool. Rocker, what did you just type? The 7420. Night Lily, what's up? Aaliyah, how's it going? Taylor. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. A handful of tier 3s there. Welcome in. There you go.
Chili dog. Sucking on a dog. Sucking on a chili dog.
I'm going to have to go to HeroCon next year. Have all of you. Yeah, seriously. That I don't know if that's every year, but yeah, for sure. There's Deku the Hero. Matt Hattergal. Riley? No. It'll be ready for tomorrow, though. I completely forgot. Nah, not yet, dude. Oh, it would be saving _ Riley anyway. There's Tiff. There's Kite. What up, Kite? Gerald Marie. Yo. My best friend's brother got married yesterday. We were at the venue for like 10 hours. Wow. Oh, you were part of the wedding party. I know it's not going to happen. He won't come to the stream, but just Cook, look away from me, please. Kelly, I'm going to make that happen for you someday. There's Tiff. So it's Monday night. Some of you may be going, what is happening, Kyle? We have a guest panel tonight. So this is technically a tier sub benefit. This is happening on a Monday night because with cons back up, just trying to get 3 people in the industry to be available on a like Saturday, it's just impossible. So I decided, you know what, I'll just have it during the week, and lo and behold, here we are. So these will take place on a weekday from now on. I'll probably do the next one Wednesday. I think Wednesday will be, because right in the middle of the week is, I think, perfect. But so everyone can sit back and enjoy the show, but only subscribers will get to ask questions. So that's how it is a sub-tier, all-tier sub-benefit. Only subscribers get to ask questions. So there you go. So yeah, if you noticed on the previous screen, it was like, coming up this week, rerun. Just a reminder, tomorrow is my last stream before I go to England. So I'm flying out Wednesday, so no day stream. Thursday night, I'm going to be in England. And then Sunday night, going to still be in England. So 3 reruns. I'm going to do my damnedest to run reruns. Yes, Mike, I did. Got it right here. During those times when normally I would have streams, just so you guys can still get your channel points. No promises. I will do my best, though. It just requires me setting reminders and going boop, but who knows? I guess, well, actually, let me think. So noon would be 6 p.m. That'll be easy. I'll be able to do Wednesdays, no problem. Thursday, 8:30, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Probably not. Yeah, dude, going to Orlando. Again? Dude, Florida, the Florida cons are just... Marlon, yeah, what shows are you a fan of? What shows you? Orlando Con Gang Assembly. Yep. I will be in Orlando. Chicago will come, Kelly. Don't worry. It's coming. Josh, what up, Josh? Another Floridian. Heck yeah. No, I'm coming. Oh, Justin Green in the house, guys. Can I get a shout out for Sithinger? What's up, man? How are you? Oh, yes. Let's see. The poll. Okay. I have a feeling Lakin is part of the reason why Attack on Titan final season part 3. Oh, thanks, Tiger Claw. Yeah. I got some new digs. September I can exist, but Attack on Titan got the most votes. That is dumb. It actually had the 3rd most voters, though. That's fine. My Hero, predictably up there. Hey, season 6, 2nd. Followed by Fire Force Season 3. Chainsaw Man. Not a lot of Chainsaw Man love. I thought that was going to dominate the poll. And then, unfortunately, down there, very sadly, is Overlord Season 4. Lakin. 8,500 Kaminari coins. Voted for Chainsaw Man. Started watching Snow White with the red hair for the first time. Oh, nice. Yeah, me and Chris George are the 2 guards. That's all right, Holy. We got a hype train going.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
Literally my
Welcome
faves.
To the family.
Oh, nice. That's great. That's fantastic. I asked someone a question. I asked what shows were they a fan of? Marlon. Impatiently waiting for season 3 of Fire Force to be dubbed. It's going to be a little bit. Bye-fi. Happy birthday. 19. Heck yeah. Literally. Okay, let's see. Since the last stream, which was last night. Some new follows. Tomboy. Oh, it's Sean Gann. Thanks for the follow, dude. Cybermax, what up? Chaos Knight, how's it going? I knew we were talking about places to go lunch. I just remember one place is Speakeasy Bar. Send that to me right now, Mad Hatter Gal. Love AOT, but I refuse to watch the end. Yeah. Any updates on Dragon Maid? What do you mean? There's probably not going to be a season 3. Only OT stuff I'm interested in is the skins in Dead by Daylight. Tashi Kikumaru, 17 months, tier 3. Heck yeah, Tashi. No message, though. Mike, tier 3, 23 months. What's this? 23 months? Almost 2 years, my dude. Bi-Fi. Hey, yeah, there's the birthday. Subscribe 3 months. Welcome in. Tashi dropping a gift sub to Justin Green. What's up, man? Welcome in. Drop your emotes. You got Lake, and there's that cheer. Thank you for the cheer. Marlon, thanks for the follow. And Lake, and another cheer. I'm also excited for Fire Force and My Hero. Right on. Kelly says, Mom!
Hey, thanks for the
Addison, gonna dye your hair tonight? What color are you gonna dye it? Fun bar is Barcade, which is recommended by Kyle himself. Yes, in New York. Yeah, if you're ever in New York, go to the Lower East Side, hit up Barcade. Chat mama. Okay. Let's get started. Let me go get some guests. I'm trying a new thing tonight, by the way. Purple. When I met you, I had red. Yeah, but it's really faded. Oh, okay. Popping off on Monday night. Yeah. Technically, this is a Chris Waycamp night, but will we be popping in VC to ask questions? No. So, new system. Normally, I have a secret channel in the Discord that the guests come in. It just became too much to be like, hey, join the Discord, because a lot of guests were like, what's Discord? And I'm like, okay, you got to join this thing. Okay, then you got to do this. Okay, now you got to, okay, do you see the channel? You see the channel? Okay, there you go. Okay, da-da-da. Okay, now let's pull you in. Okay, now I got to pull your video in and oh, your video dropped and that shifted all of them. And it was just like, ugh. So I'm trying this new thing. I think it'll be a lot better. It does, unfortunately, potentially, or it gives more control to the mods, actually. So that will be cool. It's not called Zoom. No. It's called VDO.Ninja. And so we'll see. I don't know. So if something goes wrong, there's probably going to be some tech issues tonight. Greetings from Peru. Right on. I did a school project in the 3rd grade over the country of Peru. I like it better than Zoom. It's in dark mode, yes. Yeah, no legendary... Well, who knows, dude? This might not work that well. We'll see. No, wait. Yahoo Messenger, right? Actually, I wonder... Let me try something real quick. Can I... Add existing... Don't make it visible. Guys, this would be... Hang on a second. This would be... legit. Ooh, hang on a second. You guys, this already might be like the best thing of all time. Hang on a second. If this works. Okay. Hang on. Bear with me. I'm doing something sneaky. I just thought of it. You won't be able to see anything I'm doing, but when I get to the scene that has the guests, and if I go yeah, then oops, then you'll know I did it right, or that it worked, I should say. Okay. Hello, Paredes fan dubs. Welcome in. Yeah, some suspicious clicking. Anyway, get ready to ask some questions, y'all. I'm going to, in fact, I'm just going to open this right now. Get ready to... Yeah, I'm sussy. Get ready to ask questions if you are a subscriber. If you're not, sit back and enjoy the show, hang out and chat. But guys, get ready to spam all of your emotes, especially your bit emotes, and get ready to rise for our national. Oh no, hang on first. Oh my gosh, please guys, raise an age-appropriate beverage with me. Cheers to a good stream, to our guests, and hopefully to no tech issues. Cheers. Clink. Oh yeah, there's gonna be, what's up, Deary Bree? Tier 3 Deary Bree in the hizzy. There's gonna be no sounders when the guests come on. So, all right, here we go.
Carl Phillips is the greatest alive. That's why we're all such fanatics. He won't wrestle the grizzly bear. Then taught in quantum mechanics. With his bouncers by his side, there's no fool that he can't outwit. He'll look evil right in its stupid face, and he'll say, "Shit." Carl Phillips, Carl Phillips, Carl Phillips, so amazing. Carl Phillips, Carl Phillips, Carl Phillips smells like daisies. He's so death-defying. He can flatulate lightning. When Kyle is fighting, we'll go to our scenes 'cause it's all so exciting. Carl Phillips, Carl Phillips, Carl Phillips, he's 14 feet tall. Carl Phillips, Carl Phillips, Carl Phillips, Kyle Phillips is the awesomest.
He's even got a theme song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
great.
I was like, Kyle, you have
There we go. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Okay, and then.
I mean, I just download pre.
Yes?
Hey,
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Oh,
Hey, how you
Hi.
doing?
Oh my gosh, it worked. For
does,
those
right?
who are streamers, what I just did was I added the browser sources on a different scene, but didn't make the source active, so I could add these links in a different scene, but then already had them active on
That's
this
amazing.
scene.
We were just talking about this. You're like a Twitch scientist, man. Like, I don't know how you get all this going.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is
I
amazing.
appreciate that. I don't know if I'd call myself a Twitch scientist, but I will take that extreme compliment. From the one, the only, Romulo Bernal.
What's up, y'all? Pleasure
What's
to
up,
be
y'all?
here.
All right, let's introduce my guests, y'all. Okay, so we have 3 directors, and so I wanted to try and get people who kind of run the gamut. So we've got, right above me, someone who's been acting for a very long time. Oh, not a very long time. He's a young chap. But he's done Shakespeare, like a lot of stage stuff, voice acting, all sorts of acting. I'd say about 5-6 years ago, started getting into the assistant directing portion of anime, and then just recently got brought on full time to the company formerly known as Funimation, Crunchyroll. Give it up for Sean Gann.
What's up? How are y'all doing?
Right
hands.
to my so this is my left, yeah, to the
Sure.
right of me, I'll say to the right of me,
Stage right.
is someone who's also done a lot of acting, mostly focused on voice acting, done a lot of cosplay, a lot of singing, and someone who's been directing at Funimation on a contract basis for a very long time, the one, the only Megan Shipman.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, thank you.
And way over there, I wanted to bring in something different, something fun, something exciting, something fantastique. Guys, please welcome in Romulo Bernal, the director of the Spanish dub of My Hero Academia.
Thank you.
And also many other things that I've been lucky enough to be a part of because Rom is awesome. Let's see. People also, of course, have their acting stuff. So let's roll those off real quick. So Sean, you'll know him as Doc in Radiant, Manabu Takasaki in Nichijou, My Ordinary Life, and Shu Itsuki in Ensemble Stars. Rom as Hank from Talking Tom and Friends, Bakugo in My Hero Academia, and Scott Malkinson in South Park, all the Spanish dubs. And Megan, you'll know from, we call her Lab Rava here. Dr. Gentle and Lab Rava. From My Hero, Mayuri and Steins Gate Zero. And this somewhat popular show that's new this season, Anya in Spy X Family. Anyone heard of Spy X Family?
What is that?
What is that show?
Never heard of it.
What is that? What a weird show.
Why is that? Oh my gosh, chat's exploding. Yeah, I guess that show's really good.
I don't know. Have you heard of it? Honestly, I didn't know it existed before.
I've only heard of it. Yeah. I just know when it was announced that Chris George got it, my phone blew up. I was like, man, I wanted it. And it's like, whoa. It's like, why is it this?
Oh, your infamous group chat? I hear about your group chat.
Do you?
Keep
From
us-
Jeremy
Yeah.
Inman, probably?
With both of them. They're always like,
Bro,
oh,
I didn't
Kyle.
even request the show. I was all like, nope. I already know that's not gonna be handed down to my low stature.
So I guess I've always said, like, if Gen, no, not Gen. If Gen was ever like, hey, Kyle, I have a job for you. It pays $1 million a year. Your
Sold.
job would be to pick and determine what's going to be the most popular show of the season. I would say, I'm out. I can't. I'm wrong every time. And it's always so surprising when it happens. So yeah. All right. Let me do. Hang on. I gotta clean one thing up real quick. Hang on a second. Boop, 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 boop. Hang on 1 second.
Someone said waku waku.
What's waku waku?
It's what Anya says. We always say it's so cool in the dub, but she in the J always goes waku waku.
Yeah.
It's very cute. I actually got I saw on TikTok. I'm on TikTok, but again, I'm kind of like Sean. I'm just a fly on the wall on TikTok. I don't post very much. But I found someone that was doing embroidered sweatshirts, and it was like it's pink and it's like square, and it has Anya doing her like excited face, and in Japanese under the box it says waku waku in Japanese. It's really
word.
cute. It's really cute. And I told the person, I was like, I'm Anya and I'm gonna buy this right now. And she was like, oh my god, thank you so much. And I was like, no, thank you. I need this in my life.
That's great. That's fantastic. All right. Well, I forgot to open the queue for questions. It is now open.
Well, I'm sure it'll fill up fast.
It'll
either
fill
way,
up.
so.
But in the meantime, I did want to kick things off with a question for all three of you. Oh, yeah, by the way, so this is just a directing pin. Normally, like, if I have, like, a themed thing, I like to stick with that show. But really, kind of, it's open season. You guys can ask about anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I have a question for the three of you. We'll start with Sean, then go Megan, then Rom. My question always is, what is something that you've worked on, whether it's acting, directing, something else, that people can go check out that you feel kind of flew under the radar, that you would love for people to see? And before I kick it off to Sean, I don't know if I ever thanked you guys for coming on, but thank you for coming on. You're taking the time out of your Monday night to come hang with the family.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Bam.
All right, take it away, Sean.
I got two things as an actor, and it's funny because I listed it as one of the roles I'm known for. But Radiant, I feel,
Yes.
as a shonen, has flown under the radar. It is popular around the world, especially in Europe. I've gotten so much mail and so much contact from France, especially because it's a manfra. Tony Valen is
That's right.
Portuguese, living in France, and he's the artwork is beautiful in his manfra. It's the first European manga to be taken and adopted by a studio, and the love for that show worldwide is pretty high. And lately, actually, I think oddly enough, the pandemic's helped it out. Like get a lot more domestic messages about it these days. People kind of giving a little radiant love, waiting on season 3, which we're all waiting on. There's material for it.
Can second that statement, because I was assistant directing at that time, and that was
so great.
So
And
good. I was like, oh, this is
fun
great.
show. But as a director, I think something that's flying a little bit under the radar, and it's probably because of like how dense the material is. But Requiem of the Rose King, which I'm working on right now, is a combination of Henry VI Part 3 and Richard III, done in like a boy love anime style, and it is something. It is intense, lots of tragedy, lots of ennui and love and swooning, and on the Japanese side, which how they can be kind of about sexuality and stuff like that, they have a non-binary performer as the lead in the show as their Richard. And on our side, we have Kieran Strange, who is trans male, as our lead. And I've made it a point for Requiem to do a lot of deliberate casting on the LGBTQIA plus side. And I have many trans performers, many homosexual performers. I have agendered performers, and mainly it's to point out, I mean, look at the work they're doing. It's amazing work. They understand the text really well, and they're in love with the material as much as I am. So those are the two things.
I remember reading those audition sides, and I was like, I read 2 sentences, and I was like, what did I read? What? So when you said, oh, it's dense, I was like, yeah, no, you're not kidding, because I read the auditions, and I was like, what? What's happening?
What was the name of that show?
Requiem of the Rose King. So it's a reference to the Wars of the Roses.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got Juan in the house, Spanish voice of Todoroki. Says my boy Roms.
What?
What's it?
Yeah. All right, Meg, what about you? Something that flew under the radar.
I'm gonna go for something I was in. I'm gonna go with Astra Lost in Space. I know it kind of
great one.
You were in it too. I was like crossing my fingers, like, he better not steal it from me. Because it was so good. It was like this. It was under the radar, I think, because the manga itself was at the time a digital. When Shonen Jump came out with their app, it was a digital exclusive manga at first. You can buy it physically now, but they wanted to use it to push their app. And it's actually really, really great. And it does tell the entire story in 12 episodes. And I think the pacing is really good. It doesn't like rush things at the end. It gets it all encapsulated. And because the manga's only 5 volumes. So it's a really quick read if you want to like read it, and it's got really good twists and turns, and it's super good. And I play
Incidentally,
Ares.
that was Kieran's break with Funimation as well. Like
yeah, that's
Kieran
how I
ended
met
up moving
Kieran
here for Astra.
Really?
Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
Wow.
I remember meeting Kieran at that point. I didn't realize that was what he moved here for. But yeah,
Right.
and then that was fun. That was also when fun story. Right when I kind of started assistant directing, and Caitlin was like, hey, I'm going to be gone out of town. You're in the show. Can you do it? And that was the day that we had, because sometimes you'll have people like from Japan, clients come in and watch how we do the process. And I was terrified because that day I was like subbing, and then like Japanese person comes in with the translator, and I was like, hi, hello, I am first day. Oh no. Like, I was like, oh my god, why today? It was fine though. It was great. And I was like, I also play Ares, and the translator told me, he was like, oh, and I was like, yeah. It was great. But then also, let's see, a show I directed. God, I mean, I'll just because I've assistant directed a lot, and my head directing list is growing larger and larger, which I'm grateful for. But I'm gonna go with something I assistant directed for Kyle and go No Guns Life. I was Kyle's assistant on that.
Yes.
And that show is so underrated. Like it's dense. Like if you miss an episode, you're gonna be confused. But if you watch it, it is so satisfying. The plot points are really satisfying once they get kind of unveiled. Like it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth a watch. And everyone's really good in it. I just like that was such a fun show to assistant direct. because it was good. You did, God. It's like Kyle knows how to do his job or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Man, No Guns Life. That was like I immediately was drawn to that because I don't work on a whole lot of like serious shows.
Yeah,
I always gravitate to the goofy ones.
you do.
But I was like, man, and the premise of a dude with a revolver
Gun for a head, yeah.
is silly already, but like it was gritty and cool and just.
And every
Chris
time,
Ryan,
every
right.
every time I got to direct Chris Ryan, I was like, "Thank you, God, I get to listen to Chris Ryan today." I was so excited.
Here you go. Chris Ryan.
He is his
deal with this city is
the
something gritty and
Mr.
crazy.
Radio voice, man.
Right.
That was a great show. That was good.
Yeah, for those in the Dallas area, Chris Ryan was the longtime voice of 97.1, The Eagle.
Wow.
Which is fun. All right, Rom.
That was my station in college.
Hell yeah.
I never heard of it. I'm in Florida. Sorry. Well, I mean, I've directed a couple of things, but just a handful of anime. But the point one now that I feel that it's kind of like gone under the radar is Akudama Drive. I think that's an original anime, if I'm not mistaken. I think it aired I think it came out. It premiered in 2020, so it's fairly new. 12 episodes. It's amazing. I usually like those short animes, to the point. It's very, there's no fillers. Every episode is intense. And even though I directed it, I got to play a weird role that I've never really done before, which is the assassin, the cutthroat. And he's like totally something that I've never really done. And it was definitely challenging, but interesting at the same time because I got to explore some weird. I had help. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I was a director, but I still asked help from my peers. I always, work in tandem with my actor friends as well. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? Because I'm always trying to learn. And that's one of the ones that I think not that many people talk about because obviously the fact that I've done other characters, they kind of focus more on those, but this one is, I don't know, I kind of really like this one. And so it aired maybe I think last year or I don't know, we're 2022, so it aired in 2021, 2020. I'm having a hard time. It's kind of a jogging my memory because the interesting part is while I was directing and recording that, I got hit with COVID. So that was really interesting. I had never directed remote. So that was another interesting aspect to that. I'm usually an in-person studio. And for the most part, when the pandemic hit, I was kind of at the forefront and I didn't really get affected. And then towards the tail end, I mean, clearly we're still kind of in it as well. But like that's when I got hit with COVID. And even though it didn't affect me that much, obviously, I had to be safe, I had to quarantine. So it was my first experience directing remote. And it felt a little weird because in where I work, we don't really have an engineer. I kind of do both. I engineer and direct at the same time. So it was a little challenging being on the computer, with the remote, getting everything delayed and having to depend on someone else to kind of sync it when you've done it for so long, you can kind of like, as you're delivering the line in your head, you're already editing it and you're like, I know this line's going to work. I could just move on to the next because I already know what I'm going to do. So it was definitely an interesting experience, but overall, back to the anime, it's a great anime. And I feel like, I don't know, I haven't seen enough. Maybe I'm not looking in the right places, but I haven't seen enough people.
The English dub got a lot of love.
It did.
Cool. It got a lot of love.
Yeah, it's by the same guy. It's by the same creator of
Danganronpa.
Right? Yeah.
Cool.
So it got lots of good attention because
awesome. I hope
love his stuff.
I doubt they're gonna make a second season. No spoilers. I mean, it's been a while, so if you haven't watched it, I mean, come on. But I hope they continue something with it because it was really interesting. I thought the plot was very well written, and every character had depth, in my opinion. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed it.
There you go. Right on. Okay, let's get to it. So our first question comes from Rocka Swift for Megan. What is the difficulties? Oh, wait. So what is it difficult voicing a little girl like Anya without referencing the original Japanese? Do you not reference the original Japanese?
I mean, I did for my audition. But past that, we don't I mean, the thing is, when we record, we hear everything in Japanese first, so I'm always hearing her first. And that's basically everything I do is based on what she does. So like we just did the episode just came out where I was so excited too because I read the manga and Anya punches Damien in the face and it's freaking awesome.
Great moment.
And I was looking
Such a
forward
good
to it the
moment.
whole time. Chris George lied to me. I really believed him because he was being so genuine. Him and Helena, the engineer, they really got me because they were like, yeah, they took it out. They just took it out. And they were like so serious. I was like, really? And I was so gullible. I was like, I knew I should have trusted him.
Nice.
But yeah, they tricked me, and I was like, but it was like really exciting because they knew how much I was looking forward to it. But yeah, she does this thing afterwards where she goes like, oh, they're like, did you punch him? And she's like, no, I just stuck out my hand and he ran into it. Such like a little kid thing to say. It's so great. But yeah, that was specifically like she says it really flat in the J, and so I kind of made it really flat and stupid because again she's lying. So
Nice.
I love how all of chat's like, what? Chris George lied?
Lies?
What?
Yeah,
Never.
Gotta
I'm
keep
glad
your
you
actors
all.
on their toes.
I'm glad you all know. Thank you. I feel very validated.
Right
But no,
on.
yeah. So I listen to her all the time. So yeah, there's always a little bit of like the J in there. So yeah.
Right on. All right, this is for Rom.
Ooh.
How do you dub My Hero for Spanish? Is it Japanese to Spanish or is it Japanese to English to Spanish?
Well, it was interesting when I was approached to do the product, to do the dub. Well, for starters, we dubbed to the J. We had the Japanese the whole time. However, I was told to try to reference the English voices when doing casting. So it was a little. It was. I'd never done that before, so that was pretty cool. It was new. And again, we were just talking before we connected, and I was saying that normally, you know, I usually when I consume anime, I always watch it in Japanese first, and then I watch the dubs, just because, you know, as a director, I kind of want to see, oh, let me see how these guys did it, let me see how they did it in reference to the original. So I had to watch it for the first time with the English dubs, and I was just like, whoa, this is like amazing. Like I gotta like step it up. These guys are killing it. So yeah, for the casting purposes, I had to reference the English voices, but when we began recording, we were recording with the Japanese.
Right on. There you go.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, that is cool.
Lexi says, interesante. By the way, so a few people were like, can I ask questions in Spanish? And I said, absolutely.
Of course.
All right, so this is...
Are you going to read them in Spanish?
I will try my
Let's do it.
damnedest.
Yes.
Yeah, do it.
For Megan, how'd you get into voice? And this could be for everyone. How'd you get into voice acting, if you don't mind me asking? The classic question.
The classic. For me, which I'm so glad I've actually seen her around lately, because I think she moved away and now she's back in Texas. So I have a friend named Madeline Brosa, and she,
Oh, you're friends with Madeline?
Yeah,
I didn't
we
know
went to
that.
college. Yeah, she got me
you
this
to
big
LSU.
band.
That's right.
Yeah. So we knew each other at LSU. We were both in the music program, and like they'd make us go on this stupid like choir tour, you know, like LSU propaganda tour, essentially. Like, come to our music school. We have a tiger, you know, and then we sing some songs or whatever. But we're stuck on like a charter bus for like a week with each other, and we started talking because I remember we were talking about like Akon or something. And I was like, oh my God, you what? And I was like, so like excited to see another like nerd in the wild. It was great. But they're rare sometimes. But she was great. She actually did work at Funimation in high school and stuff. And I was like, no way. And she was like, way. And so she was really sweet. And by the end of the week, she was like, yeah, I'll just introduce you to some people. So she kind of like helped me meet some people, and then I eventually got on like the open audition list and yada yada yada. And then luckily the open auditions rolled around only like, I don't know, like 6 months after I got on the list, which is super lucky because I think we all know how often that doesn't happen. I think when I remember laughing because the next open auditions I think were right after Cliff finished Darling in the Franxx, because he had like a weird break, and they were like, well, we got to have you do something, man, so let's just do some open auditions. And I was like, oh, when was the last one? They were like, yours, Megan, yours. And I was like, oh, 5 years ago. Okay. So yeah, I was real lucky, but the stars aligned and here I am. But yeah, now I think she moved to like Chicago, but now she's back and she's been doing Walla, and I've put her in some bits and stuff because I'm always like, Madeline's great, please. I owe you my life, literally.
Oh,
So,
Madeline's great. Sean,
great.
what about you?
It's kind of a three-pronged thing. I went to college with Anthony Bowling and Caitlin Glass, so we all came up together, and they both ended up at Funimation because, well, I think Caitlin ended up there mainly through she did a kind of like a I just got off the bus sort of thing. You know, she walked in and Chris Sabat was doing something, and like she heard that she was in college doing acting. She was like, "Oh, come read this thing," and she read it. And he kind of was like ignoring her until she read, and then was like, "Oh yeah, come on back. We'll use you. We'll keep using." And then she did like Spiral or something, and that was like a really big break for her. And then Winry didn't come too long after that, so she would bring me in to do like, bits, and so would Anthony. But I also knew Joel McDonald through the theater scene, and Joel would have me come in and do One Piece, and so I was doing Oron, I was doing One Piece, and I was doing other things with Anthony, and that was my start, but I really didn't give it much grace at the time because I was a theater actor. I'm just going to be on the stage. I'm going to tour, and I was living essentially out of a suitcase because I was traveling the U.S. touring constantly and doing international tours and stuff like that. I thought I'd end up on Broadway or Chicago or something, and it wasn't until like 2013 or 2014 that I was like, you know what, maybe I should get serious about this, and I started like calling in all my favors and getting in there. So I was very fortunate because I happened to know a lot of people and on a professional level. So it wasn't just me going like, oh gosh, you guys do, voiceover, let me do it too. It was like I literally knew them on a professional level, and they respected the work that I was already doing, and I was sending a lot of people their way, from theater, like Joel, like for bits and One Piece, and like some people have made their mark that way. I just would send Joel names like, hey, try this guy, try this girl, try them. And he would tell me years later that all my recommendations were great except for one, and I will not get into who that one is.
The end.
The end.
It's a mystery.
I'm still friends with that one, and it's not any fault of his. He's just not a very good actor.
Damn.
Hey, sometimes that you gotta just speak the truth, Hey.
Yeah.
What about you, Ram?
Mine is by pure chance. I am not gonna lie. For the most part of my life, I still am a professional musician. I was living off of that for about 5 to 6 years, just gigging around.
Living off of being a musician?
Yeah, man, it's
twerks.
Crazy. It's crazy. No, listen, it's funny you say that because even at that time, I was like, "This is amazing! Like, I'm so grateful for this. Like, I know this is not normal."
That's how I feel doing this. I'm like, what is happening in my life?
So
right now?
it was pretty scary because when I graduated high school, I worked every sort of job you can think of. I did corporate, I did retail, I did fast food, tables. I even worked at a cemetery company for 5 years as managing a collections department. It's crazy. I did everything you could do just to make hustle and the grind.
Wait, real quick, managing the collections department at a cemetery has...
We can go into that later if you want, but that was. That hardened my my emotions pretty quick.
Ooh, okay, we don't have to.
But anyway,
Go ahead.
So while I was doing those jobs, I was slowly kind of just dipping my foot in the water of music, and I was like, oh, gig on the weekends, but still work, read until it got to a point where I kept getting called so often I would have evening gigs. So I started already having gigs during the week. So I was like, man, you know what? I could probably live off this. So I had to make that scary decision of like, I'm just going to quit the corporate field and just go full music. Did that. It was amazing. I did it for like 5 to 6 years. I toured. I did cruise ships. I did restaurants. It was amazing. But as we all know, the freelance is it's a little scary at times, is what we do. What we call is the sweating in silence, not knowing when your next gig is coming. And I started thinking, man, I'm getting older. I should get something like more secure, maybe get like a degree in something, a technical certification so I could get some sort of a salary paid job. So I said, well, might as well do something that involves music because that's what I like to do. So I went to sound engineering school, and I said, well, I'll be, an audio engineer, and I'll just get a job at a studio and produce bands, hip hop groups, anything. I don't care, but I just want to still be involved in music while still maybe, moonlighting as a musician here and there. I graduated and there was no jobs. There's no studio was hiring. All the studios were saturated. There was just nothing available. And then my friend at the time, which if she's watching, I'm here because of you. She was like, "Hey, listen, there's a studio that's doing an internship. Maybe you should try that." She sent me a Facebook link, and I was like, "Whatever, just send it to me. I'll go anywhere. I need to make some money." I go to the studio. It turns out to be a dubbing studio, and so I went in. I did the internship, and man, 8 years later, here I am. I love what I do. I found a new passion. I still do music. It's pretty cool though, because I kind of get to like pick and choose the gigs I want. But I mean, it's still in the creative field, and again, I'm still like freaking out because it's like I never would have imagined I'd be here. And I guess in other words, like, this is amazing. Like I would have never thought I'd be here right now with you guys who are like professionals. You know, I have Denki Kaminari asking me these questions.
Yeah.
It's like it's surreal to me right now. You know, I'm still kind of like pinching myself because again, like I've been doing it for 8 years, but it's like kind of now where I'm kind of, you know, expanding and like meeting new people in the business, people that it turns out I've been listening to for years. So yeah, it's crazy. Obviously when I started taking it a little bit more seriously. I started taking more classes. I started learning from my peers. But yeah, it's crazy. So I would have never thought I'd be here, and you know, here I am, and this is pretty cool, man. I'm enjoying I don't take it for granted. I know that this could change any second.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is super cool. So
I didn't know that you and I had similar paths, Rom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Basically the same
That's
thing.
cool. Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
All right, this one is from Dustin. Do you remember a specific experience where you wish that you would have directed something differently? If you were to do it over, what would you have changed?
I can't think of a specific thing, but I know I had to learn really fast whenever I finally got to do a show by myself, like I was the head director. Because I just done a ton of assistant directing up until that point, until Caitlin Glass was like, "I can't teach you anymore," which just means good things. She was like, "You just need to." She was like, "I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You just got to do it now." And I was like, "Thank you," but I just had to really tell myself, like, there were instances where I would get really, I guess, like, timid, I guess is the word, because I would be scared to have someone do something a lot, or to make them do it over and over again for a take or something. But then I just had to really tell myself in my head, like, and teach myself really quickly, like, you're the last line of defense. Like, if it's not what you want, no one's gonna fix it for you. So I had to kind of teach myself to not be so like timid, especially when it's like, and for the most part, when you have an actor that's been doing this for like 20 years, for the most part, I just go, just do the thing. Nine times out of 10, like if I have like Ian Sinclair or like any of them in the booth, and I'm just like, yeah, just do whatever. Like Ian will be like, I remember I was assistant directing and he was like, "Can I just like chase this whole 3-page fight scene?" with his like ADD energy. And I was like, yeah, I guess.
Yo, I so identify with that right now. You have no idea. No idea.
It was crazy. And he did it. And I was just like, yeah, but for 9 times out of 10, I don't tell them what to do because they know what they're doing. Like, why do I need to tell them what to do? But there are times where you have to be like, no, I need you to do it this way. Like, I remember same thing, Ian in No Guns Life. Remember he's like the random dude that used to be partnered with Chris Ryan, the gunman. That's who you cast him as. And the only reason I remember that is because there was a scene where he had to come in and do these flashbacks for like 2 seconds. And with the nature of this show, the explanations I had to give him, it was like, I was like, sorry, man, here's a 5-minute explanation of like what the frick is happening in this show. So that he would know why this flashback was important. And I was like, sorry, man, I got to tell you, I was like, I'm sorry if you are like, I don't need this crap. And he was like, no, I love it. A lot of people don't do that. And I'm like, okay, well, good. Because this flashback is important. It's not just like a garbage flashback, you know, like, oh, look at this thing again, you know. I'm gonna
jump in with an answer real quick because you said something earlier that made me say something. I was training up a director and they had you were talking about like you get intimidated by people, and there's a reason why. I was training a director and it was like towards the end of like their training, and so that was just letting them run solo, do everything, and they had an actor in, and you know, the director was like, they had an idea of what they wanted, but they wanted to kind of get their bases covered. They want to try like this, try like this. The actor stepped out of the booth after like the 4th take, not that many, and they were like, they said, listen, honey, they were a female director.
Whoa.
Listen, honey,
no.
I think we got that already. And my instincts were to jump in. I was like, let's see how they handled it. And they handled it perfectly. They were just like, well, you know, I just want to make sure we have all of our bases covered. So please get back in there and do your job, and we'll get this scene knocked out.
Do your job.
And I was like, oh. So when that actor left, I was like, you handled that perfectly. They knew they messed up. They got back in there, did it, and it was perfect. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, that's it for my story. I mean, that was it.
There isn't anybody that I regret directing any certain way or not, but just checking in with myself, I wish that I would be better about analyzing kind of like the intensity or triggering nature of certain scenes in anime, because anime can be so super, you know, in depth and graphic and emotionally trying. So there are times where I feel like I should be better about checking in with the people I direct or let do things, just so we're on the same page and I don't put anybody in a position that like they're uncomfortable with or that will trigger them in a bad way. So no one in particular, but just those are the kind of things that myself I'd like to check in with.
Yeah, and you've been like directing heavy shows. So.
Yeah, they're all heavy.
You just get like heavy show after heavy show.
I have a Awashi now, which is a soccer boy show, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I got the sports anime, but it's slice of life sports anime, so everything's
so
like super intense and like
everyone
checking in with
trauma.
your family. Oh, it's so intense too, and I'm just like,
Damn.
They're like, no, I can't play soccer because my brother broke his ankle and I was in therapy for 5 years because I didn't want to.
So it's along those lines. And Requiem is certainly one of those shows that when I first got hired on, they're like, here you go. You have a Shakespeare background. Go for it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I appreciate that. Way to go. Caitlin couldn't take it because, well, she had 2 shows already, but there was no one else that would have wanted the show.
Yeah. High Resolution Josh says Sean should direct a show about being a cemetery collections worker.
I got that.
Yeah.
I got that
Real
one.
heavy stuff. Yeah.
Real heavy.
Good.
I could be a consultant.
That's good. That's good comedy. We like callbacks.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, my dad, to put himself through college, worked in a mortuary and lived in the home where the bodies were like cremated and like embalmed, and his stomach was really, really good. So he'd sometimes be sent in to like pick out like the really kind of awful bodies and like
wow.
the stuff that the cops and the mortician couldn't handle.
Wow.
Well, see, and I love true crime. So I'm just sitting here like, ooh, I would never do that. But tell me more.
Tell me
more. His eyes were cut out. His tongue was cut out.
His stomach was cut out. His feet were cut off.
This is so great. Oh, just knitting and enjoying all this trauma.
Yeah, my husband comes in the room and he's like, I'm watching a documentary on Netflix about this serial killer, and they're talking about all the traumatic things and awful things he did, and he's like, I'm good. I'm like, you don't want to watch it with me, honey? And he's like,
nah.
No, I'm gonna go play like TFT.
Yeah.
Or something. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Rom, what about you?
I guess first of all, just to piggyback off of Megan, seriously, like I went through the same. Just to give you a quick little synopsis, I directed the Spanish dub for Doctor Who, and the actor that I casted was the voice of SpongeBob. Now, it's a weird dynamic because at the time I didn't consume that much Latin American dubbing, so to me it was just, hey, it's this guy that's a great actor that just does a funny voice, let alone he's like the voice
fluent
of
in
people.
Spanish.
No.
Wow.
So I remember and his name is Luis Carreño. Dude, I love this guy because that guy has pretty much mentored me throughout my whole career. He's been doing it way longer than I have, but I remember when I first started directing him, same thing as Megan. I was like, hey man, you just do you and I'll just adjust and sync, and if you miss a word, I got you, but you know what you're doing. I'm just gonna push the buttons, you know. And after a while, he was like, "Hey man, like seriously, if there's something you want me to do different," like he made me feel comfortable to actually give some input. And because of that, like I was able to kind of like get a little bit, more comfortable as far as giving, direction to actors that have been doing this for a while. I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of, big time actors, voice actors from Latin America that are super humble, and they're like, "Yes, sir. You want me to do it again?" Like they speak to, I guess maybe, I don't know, just everybody that I've worked with that I've seen and I see their resume, I'm like, holy crap! Like, what am I gonna tell this guy? Like, this guy's gonna come in and nail it, and I'm just gonna like just record. But they're always like super cool with me. They're like, "Was that okay for you? You want me to do it again?" And I'm like, you know what? Can you give me a little up inflection on this word? And they're like, "Yes, sir." And they call me sir. Yeah. It's to the point now they do it as a joke, and I'm just like, "Yo, bro, chill, man." So we're cool now. So I get you, Megan. Like seriously, like that. When you said that, I was like, dude, for real.
It is. And I will say one thing that, like, same thing with you too. I mean, we're like twins over here. Like one thing, again, another thing that really helped me kind of, again, have more confidence and knowing that you are doing a good job, Megan. You're not ruining things. It was, there were people like Jamie and Ian and some of those people that, again, I look up to and I respect them as actors because I know they've been doing it for a very long time. And they would say like, "Hey, like, you're doing great. Like, and I don't know if they, and again, this is allegedly speculation. I don't know. They didn't tell me this. I'm just guessing that maybe, objection. Leading the witness. But but they would say things like that, and I like, maybe they hadn't had a good experience with another newer director at some point, and maybe they were like worried, but then they'd come out and they'd be like, "Oh my god, that was great, Megan, like you did such a good job." And it made me feel better because I was like, okay, like sometimes I would be scared too, because sometimes I would lose the words, because sometimes I'd be like, how am I supposed to tell them I want it said this way? And I'd be like, "I'm so sorry, but I can't think of the words, so I'm just gonna read this." And you don't have to read it this way. You don't have to take this line read. But
you don't want to give a line read, exactly.
Yeah, and you're like, I can't think of the words to, like, I can't talk. So please,
dude, so funny.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. Yeah, because you're like, I don't want to like offend you,
right?
Because I'd heard that, because I know that some people don't like line reads, and I'm like, this is just my last resort, I swear. And I would like hold my hands up like they're holding me hostage with a gun or something. But they'd be like, "Wow, that was great. Like, thanks for like a super chill session." I was like, "It was chill. You liked it?" Like, okay, thanks.
Most of my experience is actors love being collaborative. They don't like the stringent, like, oh, the director that thinks of like how to make it their way and like get no input from the actor. It's a pretty rigid way of approaching things. And I think, it's a collaborative art form, like mostly. So, I mean, you want everyone to contribute and have fun and feel comfortable in the studio.
Absolutely. I totally think of it as teamwork.
Tiff, the Tiff jar says, "I just clicked the Twitter links. Is Romulo Ecuadorian?"
I is.
Oh, you and Alejandro Saab are both Ecuadorian.
Oh, that Alejandro.
No, you said it wrong. It's Alejandro Saab.
Alejandro Saab.
If you ever get an audition
for check out Sai on VTube. That's not me.
Sai VTube.
That's not me. I wanted to say the probably the time I was most intimidated directing an actor was the legendary Matt Mercer of Critical Role.
Oh, God.
I directed him on One Piece as Trafalgar Law. And not only had that character like already been established, so I'm just like this schmuck coming in to like pass the buck, but it's Matt Mercer, and I was like, "Hey, dude, all right, here we go." But he, just like that, he was super cool, like really receptive, very collaborative, and it was awesome. So that was very cool.
What's nice is most people are pretty chill. Like, you meet them and you're like, "Oh, thank God you're a normal person."
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're all like, we don't meet very many of them, but we're always scared, like, "Oh no, are they going to be awful?" Like,
yeah.
But thank God they're not.
Yeah.
So people, and they want to also continue
crazy.
working.
Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy. Isn't that weird?
Rumors do travel very fast.
Oh,
isn't that weird?
There have been a couple of times where I had someone just be completely just like, "Wow, I never want to work with this person again," and then it would get to the point where I'm going to spread the word, guys. Make your own judgment call. This is what happened in my session. And they're
Yeah.
like, okay. And then I left it up to them. I'm not going to blacklist someone, but I had to let
Right.
people know that that's what was going
Right.
on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I did want to answer this question. It's kind of not super, I think, what Dustin wanted, but I remember when the switch came from doing home video dubs to simuldubs, which everything is a simuldub now. What got lost was being able to do accents. So kind of my big regret is a show I directed called Izetta, The Last Witch, was such a beautiful show, great show. If you like World War II, it's a fantasy World War II. It's just World War II, but with a witch in it who kind of turns the tides. And it follows though the witch and like so instead of France, it's Thermidor, but it is France. But like the map is slightly different, so I wasn't 100% sure it was an original anime. So like I didn't want to like give them French accents, and it's like, oh, actually they're Portuguese or something like that, or you know, something that sounds like French, or this isn't just like Ireland, it's actually Scotland. So you unless you're really for sure, you can't like go all in like that. So I had to just go neutral American accents, and I thought that was a super bummer. I thought that would have added another layer of depth to an already awesome show. But so yeah, that is a big regret of. I kind of was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it, because I think the only thing that was like unsure, and like I was right on everything else, like, oh, this is Germany, this is France. The country, like they added a fictional country, so who knows what that should have been accent wise. But simuldubs are great because we get the shows and all the stuff out faster, but there are some downsides to it.
On the accent thing there, Kyle, I ran into a similar situation with Requiem. Like, what am I supposed to do? It is based in, jolly old.
Yeah.
And the irony, of course, is that my lead is from the UK, and I'm having him do Midwest.
Oh.
I had like proper, like you're like Ivy League educated, or because they're all royals in court.
Yeah.
But I had my auditions go out to everywhere, worldwide. And of course, because it was an English show, like all the people that we had connections with in the UK got the audition as well. And then it's not like working for Sound Cadence or a smaller studio where you can just use bill.com or something like that. There was like all sorts of tax implications and red tape and stuff you had to go through payroll. So all these people that I had considered, because I was considering a big, UK sort of like invasion cast, considering also like thinking about what the Wallace situation would have been English wise, right? But I had to back off of it pretty hard just because I couldn't accomplish, like even lay out a blueprint for what I'd like to accomplish, because it was just going to take too long to approve everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a whole few months, like to do that apparently through Sony and through Crunchyroll, it takes almost an entire season to get somebody through that red tape.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do one more question, then we're gonna take a little breaky break. This is from Bippity Boop. What's up, Bips? What do you guys enjoy most about your careers, or makes your career worth staying in?
I think, well, I've always been a big fan of just anime in general, so I love working in this thing. And even because there's always times, like we're talking about simuldubs, like, yeah, there's a lot of pros and cons. I love saying that because like there's tons of pros to doing simuldubs, and there's cons, and there's and vice versa for like DVD shows. Like people had to wait forever to get shows because that was also kind of before streaming, but now it's like it's so crazy how much things have changed in like 10 years. But that just, even when like things are really tough and like we're trying to make things work and XYZ, and it seems like, oh God, how are we going to make this work this week? Or how are we going to get this actor in because they're going out of town and our deadline's here and I always, even there's such stressful weeks, but I always am like, yeah, but I love doing this. It's like, would I want to go back to teaching? and the answer is always no. I actually saw Joel at a Joel McDonald at con like last November or something, and it's the first time I'd seen him in a while, and I was just like, yeah, ha 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 ha. We were eating sushi or whatever together, and he went, wow, Megan, you're so much happier than when you were teaching. I was like, that's not a lie. I was really depressed at the end of that road. I was like, like, get me out. But yeah, so yeah, I'm always like, I don't know, there's hard stuff and there's stressful things that happen in timelines, and it's like, what am I gonna do? And I do songs adaptations too, so, and with the One Piece arc right now, it's just like, how much One Piece am I gonna adapt? Like, it's just like, they'll just come, and they'll just come up and be like, hey Megan, we've got like 5 songs to do, okay, are you ready to go? And it's like, it's like ready, set, go, 0 to 100. And so yeah, it gets real stressful, but it's always fun, because then you get to like the end goal, and like everyone gets to see it. And like Anthony was directing some of those first batches of that episode of the Big Mom and the Cake Island and all that stuff, and he was super awesome, because he would text me, he'd be like, this sounds so good, and I was like, aw, thanks man, because I spent 6 hours making those scratch tracks. Thank you. So
oh my gosh,
that's kind of the stuff that keeps me going, I guess, is like, yeah, it's all hard, but you know, every job is gonna be hard in some way. It's just and you can decide what you do and don't want to put up with in a job, and that's totally like anyone's prerogative. And so, but to me, that's kind of what keeps me going, just doing all of it, is like, it's fun, and I genuinely enjoy the art form that it is, even if it's like not the best VO gig you can possibly have in the world or whatever. So that's what keeps me going.
Wow. Sean?
When I was coming up, outside of theater, and deciding that I needed to make a living to supplement my art life, I've been a database engineer for a long time, so I've been working in the corporate environment for companies like AECom, Wells Fargo, so like pretty big name companies, and just using that money to kind of like supplement my art life. And what I love about my job now is that from the time that I'm doing it, I'm in it. I feel super fulfilled by the work. Coming from a theater background, I love collaboration. So I love having an engineer. I love having writers that I can access. I love the actors that come through the door. I love the stories that they have. It livens up my day considerably. And I don't feel like I have to chase something else to give myself that artistic fulfillment anymore, even though I still am doing shows. So like, I work 10 to 6, and then I'm off to go rehearse The Tempest, which will, do whatever. And like, so it ends up being kind of like 2 jobs, but I still love doing it. And I love being a part of art in any form or fashion. So that's what I love most about it.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Rom.
Well, mine kind of hit me about maybe a year and a half ago. So as most people know, I stream a lot on Twitch. I'm an avid gamer. And lately my community's been more, not anymore. Now it's kind of gotten a hybrid, but it was mainly in the beginning Spanish speaking, because that's where they know me from. They found my Twitch account. Oh, you're this character, blah, blah. So I had a small community of people that would join my Twitch channel and just converse with me, and we'd talk about stuff, anime and whatever. Out of nowhere, I think she's probably here right now. Elizabeth, if you're here, she pops up in my chat, and she starts speaking. She's typing in English, and I remember she's like, "Oh, you're the voice actor for Katsuki Bakugo," and I'm like, "Yeah, but in Spanish." Because I feel like I have to give that disclaimer, because when people find out, they're like, I don't want people to think I'm Cliff. Like, hell no, there's no way I'm at that level.
I always say never make that distinction. Like, yeah, I'm Bakugo. Here you go.
Yeah, I'm Bakugo, man. Hey.
Right, yeah. But it's just like it's happened to me before, where they're like, "Oh, the Spanish," and I go, "Yeah," and then I feel bad for them, because like their face is like, "Oh," like I guess they thought something else. Oh no, that's besides the point. So she's talking to me, and she's like, "Yeah, so you're the voice actor." I'm like, "Yeah, but just so you know, I'm the Spanish voice actor." She's like, "Yeah, I know," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." She's like, "Yeah, I'm currently watching My Hero with my family right now," and I'm like, "You're watching it with your family in Spanish right now?" She's like, "Yeah." So oh my god, it was like a slap in the face. I was like, "This is amazing!" Like right now, somebody's enjoying these wonderful stories that like I've enjoyed with their family in their native tongue, and I think. I used to kind of not take it for granted, but I never realized the depth and weight of dubs until now, because you're able to translate these wonderful stories, these profound ideas into different languages, into different cultures. And it kind of came full circle when I started showing my mom, because we watched the show. She's like, "Oh, I want to see your work." I'm like, "Yeah, for sure. Let's watch it. It's in Spanish." So it hit me even harder when it was I think season 3, All Might, the epic battle between him and All for One. And I mean, I'll never forget. I look to my right and I see my mom just like captivated, and she like turns to me with this nervous face, goes to me, "Is he gonna die?" And I go, "Yes, you're connected. Like you got it. You're in there. You're getting the feelings that I get, that a lot of anime fans get. Like she's in it. Like she gets it." And to me, that was just like a refreshing feeling. Like, yeah, man, what we do is kind of important to a certain degree. Like these stories are so amazing that I think it's great that the work that we do, we're able to provide this for different cultures, whether it be Spanish, French, German, Russian, English. And that to me kind of keeps me going, because I'm like, man, I know that somebody's going to enjoy this in their native language and they're going to be able to watch it with their family. Because as a kid, you know, I grew up on Dragon Ball before there was even, I used to watch it bootlegged on VHS back in the 80s, you know, and I didn't know what was going on.
How else was there to watch it?
You know, and my mom was like, you're just watching these cartoons, Rom's in his cartoons, you know, but now it's like she gets it. She's there sitting with me watching, you know, anime in Spanish and is connected like I was and I am. So that to me is like everything. I think that's super cool.
Dude, representation, man.
Yeah, I always laugh when people are like, "Ooh, sub versus dub," and I kind of make fun of it. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know I can kind of be a troll sometimes.
I kind of used to be like that until like, maybe 4 years ago.
But I always laugh and I troll them sometimes, because it's like, guys, it's all about accessibility, and I don't think people realize that. And I think it's really privileged of people to sit there and go, well, I just like watching it in Japanese. And it's like, yeah, well, not everyone can read that fast, or not everyone can read that, period.
Yeah.
So they need the accessibility to watch something, and it doesn't make it a lesser quality product, because we all care. Like that's what I think also. I'm like, what do you I just laugh, because I'm like, they really just don't get it. Like they think we just don't care. They think we just go into work and are like, let's ruin the anime today. Like I don't understand.
I think
so.
That's what I wake up every morning. I have my coffee and think about how I'm going to destroy anime.
I drink the tears of all the salty Twitter boys.
I think it's Chris George has a shirt that says "Ruining Anime Since 2008."
Oh, I need a copy of that.
I love it. I actually made a shirt. I think you can still buy it. I paid someone to help me make the design, because I had this thought and I was like, oh, this is great. I just want to make it. And it's a sub versus dub shirt, but it looks like an old arcade fighting game.
Oh,
so
nice.
I paid an artist that I really love to like make the girls, like one is like a cool Yakuza girl and the other one's like a cute like schoolgirl or whatever. And so it's like sub girl versus dub girl, and it's really cute, and it looks like a fighting game. So,
nice.
Yeah.
All right, actually, real quick before we break, Juan has been wanting to ask a question. I want to make sure I get Juan's question in. Juan, the Spanish voice of Todoroki. Have you ever had a starstruck moment while directing?
Every day. Well, yeah. It's like anytime I have someone in the booth where I'm just like, God, I love this person. Even now, where now I know these people and I'm at least acquaintances with them, or I see them in passing and we just are like, hey, how are you? Oh my God, hi. But then you like get them in the booth and you're like, God, you're just so good, you know? Like, and then or I sit there and go, where did I go in life that I was watching you 15 years ago, and now here I am saying, can you do this for me, please? Like, what's happening? What is in my life?
Like,
I don't know.
Do it again, please.
Again, please. Just for me, please. For the little audience here. But yeah, no, it's like every day. I mean, it's easier now because you're just like, yeah, I know this person or whatever, but you're still like, but now I feel like it's a different kind of like, I'm so in awe because I also respect them as people, not just as like, wow, I think they're a great actor. It's like, no, but I also know they're a great person too. And so I don't know, it's just, it's good. Warm fuzzies, you know?
Warm fuzzies.
I get talent struck. So like if somebody's voice is just oozing with like just this amazing quality, I'll follow head over heels and gush over them and stuff like that. The closest I've come to being starstruck by somebody is it was only during kind of a stunt we pulled in Horimiya. We had Johnny Young Bosch come on midway through the show as one of the like ongoing main characters, and I was a big fan of his through Power Rangers, and we kept it a secret. Like the cast didn't even know that he was going to come join the cast, and he ended up just being the sweetest guy and played one of the sweeter characters, and just, you know, we all loved him, and everyone freaked out. I loved seeing everyone freak out when they finally got to hear him opposite themselves, you know. And You know, Caitlin was gushing about it the whole time. She really loves him, and yeah, so he's a sweet guy, and I was a big fan of his, and I was really happy to have him, and I love that we got to do that little stunt. As far as like just like a person with talent that kind of knocks me over, like I really kind of get blown away by Elizabeth Maxwell. I think
she's so
fantastic
good.
and like just so flexible as far as her range is concerned. Because you know, I listen to her, and often I'm like, well, yeah, she's gonna play like the sexy, sultry, like whatever, but like she can play anything. And when I hear her do the things that she does, I'm always just stunned. I'm like, I should use you in everything. That's all I
get stunned, and then I go, stop being so talented, God, like, but in a fun way.
I've had shadows and people who don't know Elizabeth Maxwell sit in the booth with me to, you know, just get some work in, and they'll listen to her and they'll be like, Jesus, she's so good. What the hell? And they've like seen 20 people leading up to her, you know, and I've seen some of the people who've done it for a long time in the business. But the moment she starts speaking, everyone's like, oh my God, you know, and I think that's a good quality to have. And so I'm also blown away by it as well.
Rom?
Well, to me, it's happened. I can count it with my hands 4 times because it happened recently. The first time was with my boy Rico Fajardo when I got to record him.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Rico.
Then the second time,
Mike Kuya, get that guy out of here.
So that was the first time. It was freaking amazing because I hadn't even met him in person. I'm just like, I have the headphones on. I'm just recording him, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is happening right now. So that was one time. Second time it happened with Michaela Jo Murphy. I got to record her.
Oh, nice.
That was amazing. Felicia, I got to record her. And then recently, you know, not to blow smoke, with Kyle, man, because you got to understand, I heard you guys. I lived and breathed your dub for pretty much 2 years because I had to study it to do the casting. So you guys are all I heard. So to be working with you right now, it's like, I'm just like, whoa, this is wild, man. This is like wild.
We bonded over Secret Hitler.
We bonded.
Yeah, man.
We all came together.
That's right.
Rico's energy in a session is exactly the way he is in person, by the
Absolutely.
way. It is like high energy all the time.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is, like, you know, I'm sure you guys can all relate to this, but sometimes, you know, you run through many variables of obstacles, you know, poor scripts, you know, the adaptation. And in most of these cases, I was going through extreme issues, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is my first experience with these people. And like, I hope they don't like ever want to, like, I don't want to work with this company ever again. But everybody was so down, and they were so cool, you know, just going through the obstacles with me. So again, it was super cool. Yeah. So those are my moments.
I have a history of being not the antithesis of being starstruck when directing. I'll be like, Chris Sabat, like literally the most famous voice actor. Hey, come on in, man. You're gonna be this. I'm gonna have you voice this farting spoon. So just make fart noises. Legendary Chris Sabat. All right, cool. Thanks, man. That's it. I like bringing in like big heavy hitters. I'm like, they're like, oh, am I gonna be the main villain? I'm like, actually, you're the guy who gets punched in the balls by the main villain and then dies. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah,
see you later.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
That's amazing.
All right, we went way past where I wanted to take a break, so we're gonna take a quick break, freshen up. We'll be right back. Enjoy some clips from last week. BRB with these wonderful people. When we get back, I'm gonna kick off the second half with chat the question. Stay tuned.
Whoa, enticing.
Kyle Phillips, so amazing.
I think they got a sniper in that back tower.
Yeah.
Where?
We've got an aimbot. Holy crap. Someone clip that. That was literally insane.
This isn't working.
This dude literally looked through the MDF wood, didn't even see me. Yeah, we're not gonna have butt dances for a little while. No, not jorts!
Gonna be then.
And the death bridge is up here, right? Up.
Yeah, I saw a snowmobile outline going to A. That's why.
Death bridge.
Ah!
What the frick, Kyle? This is why you never drive. We're gonna lose.
We're down me and Rocker.
Kyle.
Because Kyle can't drive.
Kyle Phillips, why?
I should have bailed. I should have bailed.
Craig shooting.
Find you.
I heard
I'm
you.
down. I'm down. I'm down.
Okay. Wow, that's a slow burn. Oh my gosh. Whoa. It's in the back of my throat. Oh my gosh. I can't get bread back there. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Why? Holy crap. Man. Okay.
I think they got a sniper in that back tower.
Where?
What? I didn't even. We've got an aimbot. Holy crap. Someone clip that. That was literally insane.
This isn't working.
This dude literally looked through the MDF wood, didn't even see me. Yeah, we're not gonna have butt dances for a little while. No, not jorts!
Gonna be then.
And the death bridge is up here, right? Up.
Yeah, I saw a snowmobile
Right.
outline going to A. That's why.
Death bridge.
Ah!
What the frick, Kyle? This is why you never drive. We're gonna lose.
We're down me and Rocker.
Kyle.
Because Kyle can't drive.
Okay.
Kyle Phillips, why?
I should have bailed. I should have bailed.
Craig shooting.
Find you.
I heard
I'm
you.
down. I'm down. I'm down.
Okay. Wow, that's a slow burn. Oh my gosh. Whoa. It's in the back of my throat. Oh my gosh. I can't get bread back there. Okay, I am back.
Ooh.
I see the three of them.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yo.
Hi,
Okay.
hi.
The question. This
What's
is
the question?
It's an important question. Actually, Megan, you know this question. I've already asked you
do
this
I?
question. Yeah.
Oh God, I don't remember.
It's okay. Good.
Okay, good. Okay, great.
Okay. So, Gerald Marie already says, "How do I unsub?"
Jesus.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's just really important. Thank you, Val. So one day, you're out doing something, and you get bit by a spider.
I remember.
Yeah. You wake up the next morning, and like Peter Parker, you wake up with Spider-Man powers. But unlike Peter Parker, you get to make a choice. Do you A, pick to be able to like stick on walls, like climb up walls, whatever, and hang on the ceiling, but you're covered in tiny hairs because that's how a spider is able to do that. They have hairs all over their body. And the addendum here is that, like Tim Allen in the Santa Claus, if you try to shave the hair off, it comes back like a minute later. So that's option A. Or option B, you look completely normal and you can shoot out webs, but also like a spider, only out of your butthole.
Okay.
Which do you choose?
I don't know if this is what I picked last time. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
If the string comes out of your butt, is it still usable if you save it?
Well, I mean,
Oh my
Like,
god, the
could I-
follow-up.
could
What
I-
a great follow-up.
Could I prepare a lot? Could I like just prepare
there.
a lot of web?
yeah.
like at night and be like, all right, here's my web for the next day.
For the week.
No. Well, I think it depends. Like, can you
And then, like have a utility belt? You know?
I think it depends on real spider web. Like, is it like I don't know how long it lasts.
Is it super web? Like, are we going super web here? Like, is it a real web where it's not gonna lift me up? It's just gonna catch bugs, or are we just gonna?
No, it's like Spider-Man. You can swing around New York City while shooting webs out of your butt.
Well, that's not real spider web. So I mean, you know, if it was like super, everyone's like
Moog says a utility butt.
A utility butt. So
yeah.
So yeah, like if I could prepare the web and then I could maybe make a shooting apparatus, like you know how Tobey Maguire Spider-Man can just shoot it, right? But then the other Spider-Mans were like, what?
Oh no, you can't do that. You can't get around the gross part of it.
Oh, okay, but
it decays. It decays after an hour.
Oh, after an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, well
I've
then
got my answer. Like, my answer is I love party favorites.
I could go in private and I could like prepare some web. And it doesn't have to be like a gross public thing, you know. I could be like Spider-Man in a phone booth, but I'm just pooping spider webs.
Yeah. Sean?
I think the gross public thing is key. So
I don't know.
I want to be able to get drunk at a party and be like, hey, check this out. I bet you $100 I could get that beer without using my hands, that kind of thing, and bring it back here. No big deal.
Travel from town to town, being
unless I want to be like a circus freak or like use the hair and the crawling around for notoriety. I'd rather have like the secret sauce, if you might. You know what I'm saying? Like just keep that to myself until I really, really want to show it off.
The secret sauce.
I'm down. I'm down shooting webs out my butt.
I'd probably do the same. Yeah.
Wow. No. Someone said like, "Oh, I'm already so hairy. I'll just stick to walls." I believe it was Jamie Markey. I had her on, and she said, "But think of the sub industry that shooting webs at your butt creates. Of the return of the butt flap, like the pants with like butt flaps on them."
Yep.
Yeah. Amazing.
Bruh.
Groundbreaking. That's right. Okay, let's go. Let's go on to the Mighty Taylor. He loves the Spider-Man question. It's actually his favorite, but he has this question. Have you ever directed anything outside of anime or cartoons? Any interesting comparisons between the two? Any interesting differences?
Does directing a bunch of middle school children that abuse you every day count?
Taylor, actually, who asked the question, can relate to that exactly. So
does that count? Because I taught middle school choir, and by the end I was like, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm so done.
So yeah, so the difference is you hated it.
Yeah, the difference is I hated it and I was miserable. And they didn't listen, and they did. What's funny is I bet 90% of them watch anime now, and they have no idea. They have no idea that they're listening. I bet you $1 million. And I'm like, I just want to go, ha!
Remember when you said this to me?
Remember when you treated me like crap?
That's awesome.
Good times.
Sean?
I come from theater. I've directed at a very high professional level in theater and keep getting asked to do so. And if you want to just comparison, it's like having an ongoing Wallace session right in front of you, like all the time, because
and a rowdy one, a real rowdy one.
Exactly, that you have to monitor and have another person chase down, like herding cats and stuff. So middle schoolers, you think they're bad? They just get into bigger, dumber people that run around, and like you have to.
Wait, okay,
people
so
asking things like, "What's my motivation here?" And it's like next to opening night, and I'm like, "I will strangle you to death if you don't do it. That is your motivation."
Okay, so you said you directed at a high level in theater. So directing at a high level in theater, not as fun or good as directing anime.
Well, you have to dedicate just so many hours to it. There are times where I'd be in the theater till 3 or 4 in the morning trying to fix a problem. And as a director or a producer, you're obligated to the show. You want it to be good. I'll say that right there. The difference between an actor and a director in the theater world versus an actor or director in the voiceover world is I don't take it home with me when I'm in voiceover. Like I can cut off and be done. When I'm in theater, as an actor, I can cut it off, but as a director, it's in my mind 24/7, and it like is grueling, and it just wears you down. I mean, I often am very pleased with the final product, but my wife hates it. She's like, she can tell I'm tired. She can tell I'm irritable. She can tell I'm freaking out about things all the time. And then, of course, things are going wrong, or I have to make certain corrections to something that require like emergency fixes, like staying up there till 3 or 4 in the morning. I mean, it takes me away from her in a way that anime never does, you know, voiceover never does. So that's the big difference, is you have like a real life commitment to actually getting it up on stage. And theater is ephemeral too. Like once you do it, what's on that stage, that's the only way it exists ever. You know, once you're done with it, it's done. And even if you get the same people together to do it again, it's never the same. Anime, you can get in there and it's like film, you know, take as many takes as you want to get it right, set it the way you want to, and then it lives on stream or DVD or Blu-ray, and you can see it again and again and again, and it's that way that you wanted it, you know?
Yeah. The Tip Jar, who's heavily involved in the theater scene up in Buffalo, New York, said, same, but then also, I feel like theater is one of those careers where it's 90% stress, but we look on it fondly.
Hey, I'm still doing it, so obviously I either love it or I'm just crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
Rom, what about you?
So let me get this question correctly. The question was, have I directed anything besides anime, or just besides voiceover in
Besides anime and cartoons, and what's the difference?
Okay, well, I do direct a lot of stuff to live action, and the major thing I can tell you right now is the lip sync. Obviously, in live action, there's more articulation in the mouth, so clearly you have to find words that kind of end in O's or A's, depending how the character. I mean, you get that in anime too, but it's, you know, that's why they call it flaps, as opposed to in live action where there's way more detailed articulation in the mouth movement. So that right there is a big difference. You can't get away with as much as you probably could with certain types of anime. But other than that, I'm also the musical director at my studio, so I do direct talents. And in some cases, I don't know if you guys have ever directed any short parts in music in any of the projects you've done. I should ask this question: have you ever run into a talent? There's a great talent, great actor, but for whatever reason, out of nowhere, their character has to go into a song, and maybe they're not as honed in that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
department.
And then I have directors emailing
Because,
me
oh
going,
my God, I've gone through
help!
that.
And I'm like, and
Like,
what's funny is, it's so different. I'm like sitting here going,
Well, Megan, even with this last bit you were doing, you know, we have, you know, a certain actress, I love her to death, going like, I'll do it, but then we'll let Caitlin do it again. So just prepare yourself for that. I'm like, you're gonna sound great.
Yes. She came. We had an actress, won't say who, we can't say what it is yet, but this actress came in. She's great. Like, she's perfectly fine. And I always tell people, they come in to sing and they're all so nervous, and I'm like, you'll be fine. I promise you, it's fine. But you know, most people are like, oh, I'm singing.
It's
but most people
intimidating.
It is. It's because I say this because it's like acting is already vulnerable, but I feel like singing really takes it up another notch.
I agree.
It's one more level of like intimate. Like, I don't show this to anybody unless like you're me and I have a degree in it, and you're like, well, I just do this now.
And what's
dance, monkey dance. You know.
What's interesting is that I actually tune in the studio. I use tuning
that's nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I tell people sometimes, listen, relax. You just gotta be 70% good. I got you to 30. That's what I tell them.
That's what I told this actress. I was like, she was like, oh, my throat is really shredded, and I don't know, I'm like, well, one, ma'am, the character you're playing, I mean, she's not like a girly, like playing a girly character. She's already playing like a very like, haha, you know, she's very like a big lady, you know, like, I'm a big lady and I'm important. And so, you know, but she sounded great. She sounded just like she did in the J. And I said, look, don't worry. And of course, everyone. And again, I also feel like it's kind of like when you start acting and you start acting, doing voiceover, and you start hearing yourself, and you're like, I sound like that. I'm a disgusting bog monster, you know. And but it's the same when you start singing too, and you're like, it's like
and not only that, you also have the variable of not only do you got to sing in your character's voice, so that adds another
that's
layer
even
of
harder.
difficulty.
It's even harder, and so but I told her, I was like, look, you're gonna get tuned. Like all of this is going out to get tuned this weekend. Like,
you tell them that.
Oh yeah.
I tell everybody that.
Because and it makes people feel better. I think.
Yeah,
too,
it does. It does.
Really?
They're like,
One of my engineers was talking about, hey, so I'm a big fan of Blink 182, and before 1997 they were awful. Guess what? It came in 1997, auto-tune. So
Yeah.
if you reflect on the album that came out, then
everybody
that's
gets
great.
tuned. Even
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Mayer gets tuned.
And it
So
doesn't. And I think a
relax.
lot of people have misconceptions about auto-tuning, where they're like, oh, I mean, yes, you could make anyone that's bad sound decent, you know, with
Right.
auto-tune. But I think there's a misconception of like, oh, like that means I don't think people think it's gonna make them terrible. I think it's a lot like everyone uses it. If you even like, I really admire people like I watched a clip this past week. It just popped up on like TikTok or something of like Hayley Williams from Paramore.
Oh, I saw it too. When she was singing that track.
laying down a track, and it was just
Oh.
her you couldn't hear the audio, but you just heard her singing.
Yo,
And she was
fire.
just so good, like so
Yeah.
good. But
Right.
but there were these little things where you're like, yeah, that's something that's gonna get corrected
Tuned,
just
of
a
course.
tiny little bit, because it's like it's going on an album, like it's gonna
I
sound.
think the label on that
perfect.
was like almost pitch perfect, right? Like said.
Yeah,
you
no
can catch
one
some of
can
it.
be pitch perfect, even
Right.
if. I love giving. Me and Dawn Bennett went to high school together, so if I give her
Really? I
crap,
didn't know that.
yeah, we went to middle and high school together. We've been knowing each other a while, so if I ever give her crap, I forget to tell people that, and they're like, "Oh, why are you so mean to her?" And I'm like, "It's fine, it's fine." But I love to give her crap. She has perfect pitch.
Yeah.
Legit perfect pitch.
Legit
She's
perfect
great.
pitch. Not relative
yeah, like-
pitch, right? She has perfect pitch.
Yes, I have really good relative pitch. I can't tell you if things like A, B, but all the scratch tracks I make, I pick out by ear. All the parts,
Same.
all the harmonies.
Same.
Yeah,
feel
and
ya.
I'm just really good at it, but I can't
My
tell you
quirk.
if that's an
My quirk.
A flat or a B sharp. I don't
Likewise,
know. They're the same
exactly. I don't know what scale
but-
we're in. I just
I don't
know
know, I
that
don't know,
flat.
Pete.
I know when you're sharp.
3 or 4 people in my life with perfect pitch.
thing. Right.
Yeah.
So, but even having perfect pitch, it doesn't mean that you're gonna sing it perfect
No,
every
exactly.
single time.
That's not what that
Yeah.
means. Yes.
Yeah, it's not what that means. So nobody can sing it perfect, and that's kind of what we have that for. And I'm a huge Idol fan. If you ever go watch, and a huge Love Live fan, come figure.
I thought you were talking about American Idol. I was like, really?
Oh no, Love Live, it's anime.
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 I come home and I watch anime. And what's a fun trivia fact that a lot of people don't know if they're not like into the Idol concert scene, they have on those DVDs, they sound like they're singing live, but they actually tune those DVD performances, and you cannot tell. If you were
course
not
not.
at the concert, you
Yeah.
would never be. Now there are some, like sometimes they're really like tired, or they're just not having a good day, and you can tell, oh, that was poor baby girl. They really had to tune that hard. You
Right,
sound like a
right.
robot, poor baby. But a lot of times you just can't even tell, and a lot of times people are like, "What? That's tuned."
That's
And I'm
the
like,
misconception
Yeah,
with tuning. They think they're going to sound like Future whenever you're like,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
or T-Pain or whatever.
Yeah.
T-Pain.
yeah.
He-
And-
he-
and
Shout out.
just to make it clear, and I'm sure you guys can all agree with me on this, we're not also advocating that you don't even got to sing. We'll tune you. No, you
Yeah.
still have to
No,
have
You
no,
still
you're-
just
yeah.
a
sing.
level of talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
also, and also with singing, it's one thing I noticed is, and this is not a diss, it's just people do different things different ways. I'm a person that was like, what do you like? I love it when actors go home and practice, because then we'll have like an hour-long session and we'll get it done in 20 minutes, and we all
Absolutely.
still get paid that hour, baby.
Yes,
So
yes,
right.
yes.
and so yeah, it's good. And then but then sometimes I have an actor that'll be like, I didn't practice.
Or I didn't
Yeah.
hear
And
a
I'm like-
song.
Yeah.
They're hearing it for the first time.
And
And,
I'll
then,
just
and then
go-
you find yourself teaching, and then it's
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm here to direct.
Yeah, and it's
to
not,
teach
and
you
it's
how to
not,
sing.
yeah, and it's not quite the same, but it's also,
Right.
there are some actors where it's like, well, they're already cast in this role, and I can't do anything about that, but I know they can get it done. Is it gonna be like to my ear, is it gonna sound like the most heartfelt performance? Maybe not, because they're just kind of going line by line, and we're just putting it all together. Whereas if they did like the whole thing, it might sound more fluid. But also then I have to step back and go, okay, Megan, let's think about this. Is everyone gonna hear what you're hearing? No. They're gonna go, wow, a cool song, I love it. Like that's what most people think.
Most people are not gonna hear.
They're not gonna break it down the way my music. Yeah, the way my music brain does. No, they're not gonna.
Right.
It's also like when we look at minute flaps and we're like, no one's gonna see.
Yeah, like I can never watch dub the same now. I'm cursed. Like I'm like
Yeah, no, heck no.
It's a curse.
Megan, you mentioned Love Live. That's the segue into this next question for Megan. How's it been directing Love Live after voicing Hanamaru?
Oh my god. Okay, so I love. In case we weren't already establishing that fact.
That says it all.
I wish I could like show you my room. I have like a shrine. It's really stupid. My whole house looks normal. You walk in this room and it's like blah, 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 like anime just threw up in this room. So I've been a huge fan of Love Live. Like I remember. I told the story. I usually tell it at cons. I remember and I was a huge fan, and I heard through the grapevine like, oh yeah, we got Love Live Sunshine, and I was like, oh, what, we did? That's amazing. And at the time, I was like kind of new. I still considered myself like I don't have the right to be like, can I audition for this? I didn't want to be like annoying or anything. So they but then someone talked to me or like was talking to them or knew Caitlin, and then Caitlin messaged me on Twitter one day, and I didn't know Caitlin very well at that point because I hadn't really worked with her much. So I was like, oh, she didn't know me. I don't know. I'm like nobody. And I remember we were at an ice cream place, and my husband went to go walk up to get the ice cream, and he came back, and I'm just sitting in the car like sobbing, crying. And he was like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, I'm in Love Live. That's like the only time I've actually like cried, like knowing that I was in something. Cause that's how much I love it. Like I'm a fan. So yeah, I enjoyed doing it, and it was so great. And then the stars aligned, like again, total chance. I kind of put myself out there when I kind of heard through the grapevine at some point that Niji Gasaki might be like farmed, because we've been doing it at Okratron, and it's been, both seasons have been at Okratron, and I kind of heard through the grapevine beforehand that it might get farmed out, because it was over like the pandemic and stuff, and when we were still all remote, and so I kind of like was like, interesting information. Yes, tell me more. And so nobody knew, like they didn't know like where, but I had done work because I had just done, before we had quit, like kind of halted and then picked it back up a few months later. We were doing Budokan over at Okra, and that was the first time I really got to know all the guys over at Okratron. And they're really fun, and I got to know Nazi, so I like texted Nazi. I was like, hey man, and Nazi was the talent coordinator at the time. He's like, hey, I was like, hey man, I don't do this kind of stuff. Look, I don't want to be annoying, but like, if you get an email from them being like, here's the shows, which ones do you want? I was like, if you get this show, I can promise you will have 0 complaints. I will ask 0 questions, because I already know everything there is to know about the show. It'll be the easiest show y'all have ever coordinated in your life, I promise. Yeah. And then I think like a few months later, he was like, it was December, he was like, Merry Christmas, I got you.
Merry Christmas.
And I was like, yeah, because I just was like, sometimes you just gotta put yourself out there. I think I even emailed the producers and I was like, hey, because I had never done that. It was really scary for me to be like, please, like, God in heaven, I beg of thee, anime gods. And yeah, so getting to direct it is really fun, because I get to really, because again, I care so much about it, that I get to add, there's like a whole extra layer of stress just because I care so much about it, compared to like I care about other things, but this one is like way up here. So it's nice, and it's also nice to be able to watch people's reactions to it, because I think I've made it very clear on my Twitter that I'm a fan, and so people know that. And I even made a it was, I mean, I'll say it here because I don't care. But and I think people know at this point. I made a tweet saying, hey guys, like, hey fans, if we didn't do something that, because I'm a fan, I'm in the fandom, I see what everyone in the fandom is saying, I know what they want, I'm there, I'm in the thing, like I can see it all. And there's a new character in this second season, and her Japanese Seiyu, she can speak English. She's from Australia. Her name is Shu Uchida, and she can speak fluent English. And her character is canonically from America. And just again, because of simuldubs and also because of how the nature of this show works, and like with like the NDAs we have surrounding it, it's like impossible like to get her. And so I had to make a tweet being like, hey, if there, and so when the show came out and they saw her, and a lot of people were like, oh, this is me, and I was like, hey, shut your mouth. I was like, and I was, and a lot of people were like, they knew exactly what I was talking about, because most of the people were like, oh yeah, like duh, that totally makes sense. And I was like, thank you, I will appreciate you to back off, because, and I think they know that like I care a lot, and I think it's nice to know that like they're like, one of us is making this show, yeah. So we're like, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. I went to a really small con that was all about idols, an idol anime, and they were all super sweet. I even went to a panel that was all about Love Live, and I said, okay guys, please don't kill me. My hot take is I think Ayumu is psychotic in season 1. And they all went, oh, and I went, don't kill me. I had to watch her I had to watch her have a psycho breakdown like 12 times in a row, and they went, fair enough. And I went, thank you.
Nice.
So yeah, it's fun. I have a lot of pride. It's like the one thing that I'm like, this will be my magnum opus, and everything is downhill from here, really.
Nice.
So yeah.
All right, my first Spanish question.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go.
I'm ready to hear.
¿Dónde está Dashi? Dashi?
Okay, that's just, it's a YouTuber I watch. Irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Okay, let me do another one. I have another one.
The YouTuber isn't irrelevant, but just that question is relevant.
Okay, hang on, wait. I got another one. This is from Lexi. ¿Quién te inspiró de hacer director de voz?
Who inspired me to be a director?
Yeah, that.
Wow. I never really thought about it like that. I've, again, because I fell into this industry like by chance. I could probably tell you who inspired me to be more of a voice actor, but as far as directing, no, it was kind of like it was just a job that was given to me, and I was kind of like figuring it out. It wasn't like, man, I want to direct. I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy. I love what I do. I'm not downplaying it whatsoever, but I don't think I ever was like, man, I want to be like this guy. Or this person or whoever. But as far as voice acting, yeah, I could give you a handful of people. You know, Troy Baker, Kevin Conroy, voices that I grew up with, and I was like, man, if I could get to a level where at some point in my career, however long it lasts, if I can kind of like be the voice of somebody's like childhood and inspire them to do what I'm doing, that would be amazing. So those are probably the people that I looked up to from when I was a kid.
All right, here is a very serious question from Gerald Marie. Guys, get ready for your tissues. Bread and butter pickles or dill pickles?
No pickles for me.
Bread and butter.
No pickles?
But it has to be my grandma's bread and butter pickles.
No, thank you.
Wow.
Sean,
That's
please.
Okay. We can
salvage this question.
You can be
no,
wrong.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, Rom.
Fried.
That's
but
a
sweet
good
and
option.
sour, sweet or bread and butter, aka sweet pickles or dill.
That's right.
He says no comment. No comment.
I don't.
Bread
Wow.
and butter if they're my grandma's bread and butter. But I will eat a whole dill pickle from time to time.
Dill pickles are the only way to go.
Don't worry, I got you, pickled fans. Okay, thank you. These
What?
two,
No, you
I
don't got
know.
them.
Well, thank you.
Hang on, I'm gonna put a poll real quick in chat. We gotta. This is.
It's interesting
disheartening.
because it's not like I don't like pickles because I'll eat them in a burger, but like just to eat a dill pickle.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, that's good. Well,
I go through a jar in my house. Both of my older daughters both eat probably a pickle with every meal. We go through a jar of pickles like once every 2 days.
Man,
Oh my God.
I have a friend who like he really doesn't like pickles. If he were to hear this conversation right now,
Dude.
it'd be hilarious.
Good for
You're raising-
hydration.
I'm gonna clip
too, man.
this. I'm gonna clip this.
You're
and send it to him.
Replenish
you're raising pickle
water,
monsters.
electrolyte.
Man.
When I go to the movie theater, most people get popcorn, sometimes candy. I get those really thick pickles.
Yeah, the big ones.
Yeah.
Like the big Papa one.
Yeah, and I crush it. You bite into it and it shoots pickle juice onto the person in the row behind you.
And it's also like one of my favorite things to get when I go to Buc-ee's because like just get a giant pickle.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy.
Like a mile away from my house. It's pretty great. I'm spoiled.
Same, yeah. I'm right here off Main and 35, so like Buc-ee's is like just a
Me too.
Half sour pickles. All right, this is from Spence, Geek v Food. As directors, do you have a hand in casting? Quick answer there is Crunchyroll, Sentai, yes. Bang Zoom, no. Rom, what about in the kitchen? Do you directors get a hand in casting? Depends on the project.
It depends on the client. I'll give you one. I mean, when I got my hero, it blew my mind because they were just like, here are the keys to the Ferrari. Good luck, and I was like, okay. But for other clients, they do ask me sometimes. Again, some do, some don't. Some give suggestions. Like they'll be like, okay, let me get the director's picks and we'll pick from there. Or they'll just be like, okay, just give me 3 generic samples. We need this type, and they give me specs. So it varies. It varies on the client.
And then the follow-up here is, if so, what do you usually listen for when agents send you demos or when actors are auditioning?
Okay, this is so random, but I don't think people. Okay, y'all will relate to this. I bet. Like this blew my mind when I started listening to audition sides. There are people that I'm like. And I honestly cannot remember names, but I just know like there's some people that like they've been doing this forever, but sometimes they don't audition well at all. Like, and you're like, but they're so good. Like what's happening here? And it's weird. But then sometimes you'll get someone that does a great audition, and then you bring them in, and then you're like, okay, how many takes did you do to get
yes.
that an audition? Yes.
You know? like, yes. That happens to me so much with song auditions.
Yeah, it's true.
They send me an amazingly perfectly tuned track, and I'm like,
I feel like I get around that a little bit because what I listen for and how I structure my sides is what kind of story can you tell me within those 5 to 6 bits of line I give you. So anyone can give me one line a million different ways and structure it the way they need to, but I tend to have a way to link a few lines within it, and I want you to tell me the story and make it compelling to me, even if it's not really a connected story. Sometimes I'll rewrite the sides to make it work, like lines that characters don't actually say in the show. But anyone can really work hard and make a voice, but can you make it compelling to me throughout the entire thing?
Yeah. And I will say, like, I noticed that personally for me, I'm not opposed to using like new people or different people. Like in Love Live, I have a lot of great actors. Like they didn't have a lot under their belt when I cast them, and I just kind of took a leap of faith because they sent in a good thing. But especially for Love Live, I was really, really, and with this particular brand like season of Love Live, because all the girls in it, they are solo idols. They're not a group, like past seasons. And so you hear and because we don't dub the songs, you hear each individual girl's Japanese singing voice, and you will inevitably hear their Japanese voice. So for that show in particular, I was like, they have to sound like the Jap. And I put it in the sides, and I put like examples, and I could really tell like who actually went and read the sides and was like, oh, she wants something close to this, and actually tried, versus like who didn't really do it and was like, well, I'm just gonna do my own thing, even though I said this is important. And sometimes they don't listen. But versus like, but even on shows where, like, let's do Show by Rock, for example, where we did dub the songs.
Show by Rock.
Show by Rock. Show by Rock. And it was super fun. And we dubbed this stuff, and I wanted them to sound like the characters, but it wasn't, again, like kind of like you said, Sean, it wasn't necessarily like, well, they don't have to sound exactly like them in that case. I just need them to be in the same vocal range and match the energy and be able to match that energy that the character has.
Right.
Like your character who just goes, I'm not dead all the time. Grandpa.
I played a different, like, weird iteration of a character that kind of goes through all of Show by Rock in every season.
It's amazing.
I love Show by Rock. I love Show by Rock because I get to do a thick Southern accent for Haku.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
go to Manny City.
Dude,
Oh.
Show by Rock Stars, it was like, okay, now everyone. And I was like, oh my god, this is going to be
If
such
only
a
your
logistical
grandfather were
nightmare.
here to see this. I'm still here, damn it.
I'm still alive. It was great.
That's great.
But no, it was super fun. Actually, Kyle, you'll love this. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was looking to cast Hoenn, who's like the main girl, because they kind of have like a new set of girls in Show by Rock, Mashu Bairesh, and then they kind of bring everybody back for Stars. And I was like, God, who can I? Hoenn was so hard to cast, and I was like, oh, who am I gonna cast? Who am I gonna cast? Who am I gonna cast? And I just all of a sudden I was like falling asleep one night, and my eyes just went. Oh my god. And because I had remembered the session I did in No Guns Life with Macy.
Yes.
And we had talked, and because she
Macy's
played
great.
Scarlet, and I remember her being like, yeah, I'm like going to school for like musical theater, like offhand, and she was so sweet, and I went, Macy. And I like had to write it down in my phone so I
that's
could
great.
go and like and make sure. I think I had to like make sure she got the audition, because I wasn't just sending it out to everybody because we had such a tight turnaround.
Yeah.
And this was like right before COVID, so like the turnaround could have been as long as possible at that point, but we didn't know that at that point. But and it all had to be singers, and they couldn't have been in Show by Rock already. So it was kind of like, okay, the pool was already very small. So I was like, who else can it be? And I was like, Macy, make sure Macy gets this audition, please. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's great. Macy's great.
But yeah, she's wonderful. So.
All right, we are out of time, so I'm gonna drop one last question. And in the queue, it was asked basically like 7 times, or some version of it. But basically, very simply, what is kind of your favorite thing, favorite role, moment, scene, show that you've directed?
Directed. I loved in I loved in Nijigasaki, Love Live, go figure. There's a scene in season 1 towards the end where Ayumu, who's kind of like your cutesy Ayumu, and then there's a character named Yu, and we kind of follow them and their relationship through season 1, because Yu is not an idol, she's just like a support network. She like ends up becoming inspired, and she joins the music program, and she just wants to support all these wonderful friends she's made. But Ayumu gets very jealous of her because she's like, you're my best friend. Like, I don't get, like, she's never had to deal with her having all these friends before. So it's kind of this really interesting, like, they get really jealous. Yes, it gets very like, ooh, do they like each other? But they'll never say that because it's Love Live and they'll never admit it. But it's, it's like, but there's a great scene where Madeline, who plays Yu Takasaki, she's like really happy. She's like, I'm gonna join the music program, Ayumu. It's so exciting. And Ayumu is sitting here going, why did you tell this girl before you told me? Like, we're so close and you didn't even tell me. And she's getting really upset. She's like, so you don't care about me or whatever? And there's this in the J, her character has it shifts from her being like, what? And then she finally just very intensely is like, no. Like, it's a really subtle but like intense shift to be like, absolutely not. That's not how I feel. And I was really proud of getting Madeline to do that and getting that little detail in there, because people noticed it. People did notice it. And when it aired, I remember people were like, God, that was really good. Like when she shifted and said like, that's not true. And like, it was really intense. And so that was a really fun scene, because it's like a lot of just like emotions are high and the girls are yelling at each other, or one of them is. And so yeah, that was really fun, because it was like this really subtle line that we got to really, that was like my priority of like, this one part really has to, because that's kind of where the whole scene turns, and it was really, really good to make sure that stayed in there. Yeah.
Sean?
Not a particular scene though, there is one within it, but as a director, like the thing that's really stuck out with me and I've been most proud of, and what drew me really in fully with the anime world as a director is our casting and intention on Horimiya, where we went out of our way to make it a fully BIPOC cast and kind of layer it out there and get these voices represented. And having just within it, Hori herself is considered very smart, very sweet, and Marissa Duran, she's like having a great time doing this whole thing, and it gets to like one of the middle episodes, 5 or 6, and her and Alejandro are like running into these like kind of like bullies that are played by like Lee George and Ace Anderson, all these guys, and they're kind of mean, but Hori kind of kicks all their asses, and then Alejandro's character Miyamoto says something kind of like, "Hell, you need to shut up" or whatever, and she like really likes it, and like she starts getting like really into it and wanting that sort of thing. And so this sweet character all of a sudden's like, "Yeah, say bad things to me, make me feel less than," and everyone
Oh my
freaks
God.
out about it. They're like, "What is going on?" And like literally Alejandro Miyamoto would be like, "You need to shut up, stupid. You come home with me. You listen to what I say." And all the bullies are like, "Holy shit, this girl that just like beat everybody's ass is like being pushed around." And it's like she's like fawning over it, and like,
oh my gosh.
yeah, it's such a
Amazing.
sweet slice of life high school show, and then all of a sudden this weird like, all of a sudden be like, it's not Kink Shan Horimiya. I mean, she likes what she likes. Let her like it.
Oh my gosh. Rom.
Well, I have 3 that weigh just as equally, and I'll make it real quick because I know we're out of time. But they all have the same amount of weight that I'm just like, man, this is the coolest experience I've had. 2 of them are from My Hero Academia. One of them was the muscular fight when I was directing Sebastian, who at the time I think was 17 years old, who played Deku, and that Detroit smash, man, we must have done like 5 or 6 takes, and I had it. I was like, dude, we got it. And he was like, "No, man, I want to do it again." And I'm like, "Dude, we got it." He's like, "I want to do it again, man. I could give you a better one." I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And he did it, and that's the one that stayed. He almost passed out. It was so hilarious. He was fine, obviously, but he just gave it all. And it's amazing because that's the one that it keeps going around YouTube, but they're like, "This is an epic dubbing moment in the Spanish dub." So I'm really proud of that part.
Nice.
Another one is if Juan is still here, I was able to direct the World Heroes Mission, My Hero Academia, the 3rd movie, and I'm really big on reactions, like on screams. Like, don't come at me with no like, dude, I need to see that vein pop out. Like, it's gotta be, I gotta hear like your intestine when you scream.
Yeah.
And the scene where Todoroki's fighting, I remember we were doing a couple takes with Juan, and I'm like, "No, man, I need more, dude. I need more." He's like, "Okay." And he was obviously trying to give it his best, but I just kept asking for more and more and more. And then finally, the last take we got, he almost passed out, but it was very guttural, where he's being like burned up, and that was an epic moment. I remember watching it back. I was like, tear was coming. I was like, "This is my boy." That was awesome. And then the final one is I directed this anime called The King's Avatar, For the Glory, and it was cool because at the time I was directing Rico and my friend Jason. Now, my friend Jason, he's kind of like it here in Miami. He's like in all the studios all the time. He beats me in every damn audition we do, but I still recommend him because he's so good, bro, and he's my boy. And whenever I do an audition, who's a Jason, I go, I'm not gonna get it, because he's so good. So it was amazing. They had never met, and I had directed both of them. Jason played the main character, and Rico played the main villain, and they had an epic battle, of course, because it's For the Glory. It's basically an anime about esports. So it's, of course, they're on the computer, but then when it clicks into the game, it gets all, with the swords and stuff, all cool. And so they're doing a fight scene, and of course an epic song comes in, and it was just cool hearing like both of them when you're doing the QC, and I'm just listening in to see if everything's in place, and just hearing both of them just react, and I was just like, man, this is an epic moment for me. So I would say those would be my top 3 moments in directing.
I have 2. One of them is directing Michaela Krantz in episode 9 of Overlord. She plays Clementine, who is this psychotic villain. Just wonderful character. And spoiler alert, this is her final episode. And it's this whole big lead up where she is trying to, she's used to just like getting the reaction she wants out of people and then murdering them. But she's not getting that reaction out of Chris Guerrero's character Ainz, because he's an all-powerful Lich Lord. And so they're walking along, and one of my favorite rewrites is the line was just like, I can't get excited unless you're angry. And so we rewrote it to, I can't get hard if you're not mad. Which was just great. And then just that whole rest of that episode was just so beautiful. Like that, I was like, man, like that's rarely, I feel like I'm a humble guy. And so, but that was one of the times where I sat back and I was like,
I did that.
I did a good job.
I did, yeah.
And then the other one is basically David Wald in all of Skate the Infinity.
Oh my god, yeah.
That he won a Crunchyroll award and Dub Talk award for that role. The way I approach directing is like I like to have actors play in a sandbox, and my job is to keep them in the sandbox, but to let them have fun. That was one of the few times where David was just throwing sand out of the sandbox, and I was like, go ahead. Do whatever you want.
Anytime I have David, he's always like, hey, and I'm like, hey, and it's always fun, but he is so great, and he's so full. He's always like, can I try that this way? And I'm like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can do whatever
David.
you want, David Wall.
Why would I
insane.
say no? Like,
yeah, no, Dave is insane. That was great. Well, all right, y'all. That is it. We great questions, great answers, and this flew by. This was so much fun. Matt, if you wouldn't mind, please drop all the socials and stuff, guys. Please go follow these three wonderful people, especially Rom on Twitch. Guys, Rom plays drums on Twitch. He plays Final Fantasy VI. He does English and Spanish. Go give this dude a follow on Twitch. He streams a lot. When's your next stream?
I usually do Tuesdays and Fridays, but for sure always Saturdays.
Oh,
midday around noon, between noon and 3 o'clock.
Right on. And you can catch Sean The Tempest with Shakespeare Dallas. You can catch him in person. Is there an online element to that? Can you watch the show online or just in person?
At the moment, it's just in person, but they have done streams before, depending on the situation.
Okay. So, but go ShakespeareDallas.org, June 22nd through the July 22nd. Get ready to go watch him do some fantastic stuff.
Shakespeare in the Park.
On stage. And of course, go give Megan a follow. Give all three of these a follow.
Yeah.
Drop all the twerks.
Hey, also, I have a wonderful friend. Her name is she's my friend. Totally not at all related to me. But I have a wonderful VTuber friend. People have been using those emotes. Her lovely name is Ace Sukimaru. If you want to go, she's great. She's been on hiatus because her life has just been so stupid busy right now. But if you want to go give her a follow, it's fun. She's a fun, cool cat. She's chill, love her.
Nice.
But she's great. Thanks, Cosmo. I see you, Cosmo. I see you. Look at those. So cute.
Right on.
So cute.
Right on. All right. Well, I'm gonna head to my my end scene. Thank you guys once again for hanging out, asking questions. Thanks for giving up for these three. You three hang out. I'll be with you in just a minute.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, chat. Love you.
Thank you. Amazing.
All right, y'all. That is it for our sub-tier bonus stream. Hope you guys had fun. I already activated the raid for Kimmy. I haven't been able to raid one of my stream teammates in a long time, so let's give Kimmy a raid. Hope you guys enjoyed the panel. There were so many questions. I'm so glad you guys came out. I tried to jump around and find like the really unique ones and the ones that like really stood out. So I'm sorry if you didn't get your question answered. Go follow those people because chances are their DMs are open. You can ask them that question like directly. So go give them a call. Subs, thank you so much for your support. Everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Mario Kart. Go give Kimmy some love. Go give Kimmy some family love. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.